Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. I usually skip these little recaps and just go right into it because I recap, but I just enjoyed this. Remember how the professor was supposed to show up with decisive evidence? Well, nope, he's actually now an Inquisitor. This is, I think, narrated by Maya. Then the professor burst in saying that he was able to prove a spell is really the Great Witch. What do you do when you're up against someone like the professor?
Professor? But what are you doing?
What am I doing, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, you were supposed to show up with some decisive evidence and save the day, Professor.
I'm afraid my only concern here is the truth.
The truth?
The truth behind the real identity of the Great Witch, Espella Cantabella. If seeking the truth requires us to stand on opposite sides of the courtroom, then so be it.
Yeah, see? He's just helping out. They're finding the truth. That's what I said last time. It's the defense attorney and the prosecutor working together to get to the truth. Even though they're on opposite sides, doesn't mean that they are antagonistic toward each other.
I expect you to defend Miss Cantabella with everything you've got, Mr. Wright.
See? We're good. We're fine. Court is now back in session. Are you prepared, High Inquisitor? I mean, we had to. She had to go on the witness stand. We had to have an Inquisitor. Of course it would have to be the Professor. So long as I remain on the witness stand, I am no longer High Inquisitor. Simply Darklaw will suffice. Miss Darklaw, I'd just like to confirm something. I'd like to just confirm something. A moment ago, we established that you were, in fact, present at the bell tower during the time of the incident. That makes a total of 3 people at the scene. Also, do we have... Okay, we don't have his evidence yet, because we still have that picture, remember, that has her with the pendant? It would appear that was the case. However, you managed to stay hidden from 10 different guards. With the help of this right here, rope of invisibility. In other words, there's every reason to be suspicious of your actions tonight. Lady Darklaw, while I cannot believe you would deceive us in such a way, I ask that you tell the court what happened at the time of the incident. Very well. Kira's still there too. The town square was to be the parade's final stop. I patrolled the perimeter to ensure nothing was amiss. As I passed by the bell tower, a pair of small footprints leading inside caught my eye. I went inside to investigate. I had my own reasons for not allowing any one of those vigilantes to see me. I climbed the stairs up the bell tower and saw an intruder inside with their back turned. I proceeded to apprehend them. That intruder being Kira. You apprehended the intruder. While I hold the position of High Inquisitor, there are often times when I must partake in various secret tasks unbeknownst to the citizens of Labyrinthia. One of those tasks being ensuring the security of the storyteller. Security? As such, there is nothing odd nor suspicious about my actions tonight. I see. Defender, you may now begin your interrogation. We saw them in there. Layton was one of the... Alright. The phrase final stop. Okay, press everything is the general rule. Let's keep going. Nothing was amiss. You mean there was no immediate threat to the storyteller, right? Now you tell me, Defender. Surely you remember the final part of the story. She must mean the part about the storyteller's death. There's little possibility of changing the outcome of what has already been written in the story. However, there are still those who would challenge the story and make an attempt at changing the inevitable. That is what I too think. What's up, Maya? Did you notice something? You could say that. It's just... Look at Kira. She's been looking down the dump since the start. Oh, right, Kira. I also forgot she was still here. I didn't. Not only that, she looks sort of scared, too. You're right. We can't afford to forget about her. I wonder if Kira has anything else she can tell us. I've got to remember to question her the second I see it open. Was that telling me to do that then?
Hold it!
In that line? Those must have been Miss Kira's footsteps from when she snuck into the bell tower, right? Indeed. The ground outside was quite muddy after the rain, so her footprints were easily visible. Right, according to the vigilante's testimony. They thought the footprints looked like Foxy's, but it turned out they weren't hers. That's right. Her footprint would have contained a mark where her stiletto had been. But the footprints I saw at the bell tower contained no heel mark at all. And you stepped inside those footprints on your way up the stairs so as not to leave your own and risk being detected, correct? Exactly. At that time, my main task was to ensure the safety of the town square. In doing so, it was of the utmost importance that no one knew of my presence there. Had the townspeople noticed your presence there, it would undoubtedly have raised some suspicion. Indeed, so naturally that is why I did not wish to be noticed by the vigilantes. Therefore, it was imperative that I mask any traces of my being there, even if it meant utilizing another's footprints. I see. A clever tactic worthy of the High Inquisitor herself. Is there anything off about her testimony just now? Not that I know right now. Maybe if I press more. Can't let the professor to catch me off guard. I'm going to press an issue and better be sure I know what I'm talking about. A wise decision, Mr. Wright. Boy, Nick. I can totally read you like a book. Okay, seriously, is my face that easy to read, or is everyone just psychic? Maybe a little text box appears underneath you. Okay.
Hold it!
And what were those reasons? They relate to protecting the storyteller. It was something I was to carry out at that particular time. Did it perhaps have something to do with what was already decided upon in the story? The storyteller's word is absolute, therefore, any and all those who make an attempt to alter his will must be dealt with immediately. I'm sorry, you have something to say?
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Kira. Witness? Yes? Figures she really doesn't remember her own name. You seem to be deep in thought about something. Did you remember anything regarding the High Inquisitor's testimony? No, I'm sorry. Nothing in particular. It's just... I'm a little disappointed in myself. Disappointed? I traveled all the way here to Labyrinthia in order to fulfill my mission, but all I managed to do was fail and end up being captured. Regardless of your own failure, Mr. Kira, the storyteller did die as was foretold, did he not? Tonight, as the rain came pouring down over the town, I arrived at my designated location. Naturally, the bell tower was surrounded by guards on patrol. 10 to be exact. I was very nervous. She must be talking about the vigilantes. Just relax, you'll be fine, so long as you're wearing this robe, I kept telling myself. Little did I know I was wrong. But none of this would have happened if I was just a little bit more careful. Enough. I would be thinking more about atoning for your past crimes and less about what could have been if I were you. Is anything wrong with Kira's testimony? She was wearing the robe. Hold on one second. About your testimony, Miss Kira. You were thinking to yourself that so long as you had a robe on, you'd be fine. Yes, that's right. I was... So basically, you were wearing the robe the whole time. You were on the top floor of the bell tower, is that right? Yes, I had it on the entire time. That is, until I was attacked. Then my robe was ripped off by the wind. Miss Kira, this is the first time we've heard any mention of this information. Is that so? I think I must have just forgotten. Or we did, because didn't I bring that up last episode? Your Honor, perhaps we should update this piece of evidence in the court record. Right you are. Okay, now. Now we have beef.
Hold it!
Do you think he could have been the Great Witch Gazella? Okay. So... I mean, the thought must have crossed your mind. Surely you anticipated some sort of resistance. While I hate to admit this, I allowed myself to act rashly without first considering the circumstances. So, the second I noticed their presence, I took action. Never did I imagine the intruder would have as much strength as they did. Perhaps I should have gathered more forces to accompany me. However, at the time, I was not thinking straight. I assumed any additional help would not be necessary.
But Lady Darklaw, through your quick thinking and judgment, you still managed to successfully catch the suspect.
Unfortunately, my lord, 'twas nothing more than pure luck. Exceptional results can only be obtained through exceptional thinking. Don't you think?
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Looks like that's all we're gonna get out of her for now. You know, if Darklaw was just going into the bell tower to arrest some intruder, then I wonder why she didn't just come out and say that to begin with. Simple. That information was strictly need-to-know basis. Need-to-know basis, huh? That sort of secrecy is pretty common, but usually they've got to have a reason for not disclosing the information to begin with. Darklaw was hiding this information for a reason. That's why we need to find out exactly what she was doing in that tower. We've got to get her to tell us. Hey Nick, is it me, or do you feel like we're being watched?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Wonder what's up with the professor. Something must have happened. There's no way he'd turn on us like this. The professor has been very quiet so far. But surely he must have noticed there's something that just doesn't add up with Darklaw's testimony. Anyway, there's bound to be something in this testimony we can use, so we just have to make sure we comb this thing from top to bottom for any contradictions. That's right! Unfortunately, I still have a credibility of 1. Okay.
Hold it!
Now that I have all of the information, the ground inside was quite muddy, so her footprints was obvious. Something about the stilettos, even though she's not actually wearing stilettos. I don't think, anyway. Footprints, I saw no heel mark. Stepped inside those footprints and they were the stairs, not of your own kind, exactly. My task was to ensure safe from the town square. It was utmost important that no one knew my presence there. It tells you one knows your presence. It would raise suspicion. I did not want to be noticed. Masked presence. I can't do anything with it yet. I think I need to. I think I do need to. Whoops. Oh, man. I didn't mean to go that far ahead. I'm gonna present on that one. Because Kira was wearing this, so...
Objection!
So the person you saw when you entered the bell tower was actually Miss Kira. I was getting really nervous because the music didn't stop. The only problem with that is that it would have been impossible. What are you talking about, Defender? Miss Kira, should I say, the witness, stated that while she was waiting on the upper floor of the tower, she was wearing her invisibility robe. Therefore, there's no way Miss Darklaw would have been able to see the witness.
Oh, you're quite right. Anyone wearing this robe becomes invisible.
Right, but there's just one particular group that can see anyone dressed in this robe.
And who is that exactly?
Only residents of the Eldritch Woods are able to see the robe. If you're from the Eldritch Woods, then you'll have absolutely no problem seeing this thing.
Objection!
So, what you are saying, Mr. Wright, is that Miss Darklaw here actually hails from the Eldritch Woods. Is that correct? And that she knew this girl prior to tonight? That's right, Professor.
What is this?
A most impressive display, Mr. Wright. However, there is one detail that you appear to have overlooked. Something I overlooked? You say Miss Darklaw saw something she should not have been able to see. However, the truth is that there's one other possibility as to what occurred tonight. Did he just say what I think he said? It's rather easy to work out. Quite simply, the witness was not wearing the robe in the first place.
What are you talking about, sir?
This witness has proven her memory of tonight's events to be quite unreliable. I believe that by the time she climbed the bell tower, she had in fact already removed her robe. What? It is as you say, Inquisitor. As you can see, Defender, your assertion is mere speculation at best. The little witness here has been lying to the court the entire time. It's as simple as that.
Objection!
One second. The witness was quite clear with her testimony. Isn't that right, Miss Kira? I'm not sure. What? I mean, my memory's a little fuzzy.
No way. This is so unhelpful. It would appear there's nothing more to be gained from this line of questioning.
Your Honor, I suggest we return to the cross-examination.
Fine idea, Inquisitor. Well then, Lady Darklaw, will you please continue with your testimony?
As you wish. Ah, man. No matter how you slice it, Kira looks like she's definitely hiding something. If only there was some way of getting her to talk, huh, Nick? No matter what Kira says, Darklaw just stays cool and brushes it off. Yeah, this isn't going to be easy, that's for sure. That's why we really need to set our sights on Darklaw. If we keep doing that, sooner or later Kira is bound to speak up and say something. Whoa, Nick! That's your most dastardly devious plan yet. Alright, I know there's still a clue or two in this testimony somewhere, and I'm gonna find it. I should go back and double check her previous testimony. There have to be some more contradictions. Okay, well, I guess now is whenever I say the other thing. A pair of small footprints leading inside caught my eye. I went inside to investigate. This is when she was...
Hold it!
Must have been Miss Kira's footprints. Thought it was Foxy's. Stepped on those footprints. Guess there has to be, right? Miss Darklaw, I just noticed something in your testimony. It's very relevant to the case. The defense requests you amend your testimony. You just can't help letting that ridiculous imagination of yours run wild, can you? The Inquisition has no objections. Very well, the witness will amend your testimony. Miss Darklaw, what was your reason for going up the bell tower alone? It's as I said earlier. I was in the town square to make sure the area was secure. Okay, but surely you had some inkling that Bazella might have been lurking around there somewhere, right? Wouldn't it have been a lot better if you went into the bell tower with some backup from the vigilantes? Defender, you witnessed the summoning of the fire dragon with your own eyes, did you not? 10 more people at my side against a power such as that would only mean 10 more lives lost. She's got a point there. And besides, even if those 10 had been with me, their combined strength is nary that of even Barnum's annoying mutt. No objections here. Say, Nick, about Darklaw's testimony, I think I noticed something kind of fishy. Yeah, me too. Probably be a good idea to give the court record another. Okay, but we've already established that the footprints. Okay, so last time I think they were like, oh, Foxy was. They thought it was Foxy's because there was no heel, right? And that this came later because they're saying that this is Espella's footprints because these footprints match Espella. So presenting this piece of evidence because it has a heel doesn't work because we actually saw the stiletto footprints because it showed them whenever they were talking about thinking they were Foxy's footprints and then Espella stepping over top of them. So there's no way with that being said, nothing else works here. So I don't agree with it, but I feel like that's what it is.
Objection!
What I have here is a sketch of the footprints left of the bell tower. So tell me, Miss Darklaw, are these your footprints in the sketch? It would appear so. I would never mean to offend the hard work of Labyrinthian's vigilantes, but tonight's task was mine and mine alone. Okay, when you put it that way, I can't help but notice a certain contradiction. Okay, this is... Again, What did you say? Miss Darklaw, you stated the following. When you climbed the stairs, the footprints had no heel, so you tried to match your footsteps to them as far as possible. However, if you look at the actual footprints that were left behind, you can clearly see that not only is the heel present, but so is the entire foot. If you were trying so hard to step on the footprints already there, then the footprints in this sketch shouldn't have heel marks. It's very true. I do not think such a small detail is of much importance in the long run. I agree it's a small detail, Your Honor, but that's not all I noticed. There was something very telling about Miss Darklaw's testimony. Telling, you say? She stated that she stepped on the footprints that were already at the scene in order to disguise her presence. Now, there's something strange there. Specifically, why were these footprints left at the crime scene in the first place?
Objection!
Mr. Wright. Yes, Professor? Tell me, can you show the court why the seemingly minor detail is all odd? I can't exactly do that at the moment. You can say whether or not these footprints are indeed worthy of concern. And if it's an issue, then what exactly are the implications? That, above all, is what you must answer, Mr. Wright. I do not believe you can assert that this is a blatant contradiction at this time. Yeah, there he goes again, flexing that amazing brain of his. That's enough.
Miss Kira.
Lady Darklaw, how could you? How could you simply abandon us? How could you betray us?
Betray? So what's the meaning of this?
Lady Darklaw, you are the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. You are the one responsible for handing us our tasks.
What?
This wretched girl is nothing more than a detestable spawn of magic. Her words cannot be taken seriously.
This poor girl.
People of Labyrinthia, I ask you, what am I if not a loyal daughter of this fair town? No, you're lying. Lady Dark... Bleh, sorry. No, you're lying, Lady Darklaw. I'm so used to the slow text, I'm just, like, breaking it up in weird places. When I was waiting up there in the top of the bell tower, I was most certainly wearing that robe. Lady Darklaw, you were also wearing a similar robe, were you not? Don't you remember? Nonsense. I haven't a clue what you're babbling about. I simply managed to sneak right by those makeshift guards. 'Twas not the most demanding of tasks for someone like me. Yes, you're right. That would be true. If you'd been sneaking around by yourself.
By yourself? Witness, explain yourself.
Enough. Listen to me and listen well. Continue as you are, and I will see to it that this court be the last place in which you ever set foot. It matters not. The end is already nigh. After the events of today, I shouldn't even be here right now.
Miss Kira,
You're saying that Miss Darklaw was not by herself at the time of the incident tonight. That's right. Lady Darklaw was wearing the invisibility robe. And underneath that robe was a young girl passed out on her back.
what? A girl? Could that be?
Yes. It was the very same girl imprisoned inside that cage up there.
You mean... Isabella Cantabella? Order! So the accused was carried to the bell tower.
My lord, there is nothing left for me to say. Just the word of the High Inquisitor versus that of a witch. Tell me, who would you sooner believe?
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, you of all people should be aware that this isn't a matter of believing or not believing. I'm afraid those are words that carry no meaning here. The only thing that carries any meaning here within the courtroom is evidence. Do you agree, Mr. Wright?
Yes, absolutely, Professor.
Well now, things are beginning to heat up a little, aren't they? Are they not? Wow, I can read these words. Fine. Tell me, Defender, have you the means to prove this assertion? Do you actually think you can prove that I, the High Inquisitor of Labyrinthia, carried the accused into the bell tower?
From the looks of it, Miss Kira was supposed to keep quiet about Darklaw's secrets.
But she couldn't deal with all of Darklaw's denials and finally found the guts to chime in. I can't let Kira's efforts go to waste. I don't care what stands in my way. I'm going to find the truth.
Your Honor, the defense wishes to present evidence proving that Miss Darklaw did in fact carry my client up the tower. I wish to present the evidence, but I don't have the evidence to present. Very well, Defender, you may present your evidence.
Here's the evidence that proves Lady Darklaw carried the accused up the bell tower.
Oh no, I can't save.
Is it the stupid footprints again? Because there's only sign of one pair of footprints. And the chances of them walking on top of each other is ridiculous. Oh, if I mess up here, I don't have the menu to... I can't save. I can use a hint coin, but I don't want to do that. First Lady Darklaw carried the accused up the bell tower. No. No. It could be no trespassers. It's either the vigilante's report or the footprint sketch. Is it just the fact that there's just one? She specifically said she was careful to step in the footsteps.
Take that!
Yep, I love this footprint sketch. There's something in your testimony just now that I'm not buying. And that's the footprints that were left at the bell tower. Did I not just finish admitting that those were my footprints? Miss Darklaw, you stated the following. There was no heel on the footprints, so as I ascended the stairs, I was careful to match my footsteps to them as far as possible. However, the reality is, the footprints pictured in the sketch actually do contain a heel. That means something must have prevented you from being able to tiptoe among the footprints that were already there. Okay, Gabe, that's a little bit of a stretch. Prevented? You mean? That's right, Your Honor. Miss Darklaw, when you climbed up the bell tower tonight, you must have been carrying Miss Cantabella on your back, is that correct? If you remember, it rained quite heavily tonight. That means the stairs must have been quite slippery. With your two hands occupied carrying my client, there would be no safe way for you to tiptoe up the stairs without falling. That right there is the truth behind the footprints on the staircase. Lady Darklaw, you... Fine, I admit it. But just as you say, I donned the robe and made my way up the tower. But I was not alone. I carried both Espella Cantabella and her little friend up the tower with me. A little friend? A cat? That black-furred creature of hers, the thing is nary ever sickened from her side. Oh, she must mean Eve. When I arrived at the top of the tower, I saw this girl already there and called out to her. I was very shocked to see the mistress show up in person like that. The girl's presence was an inconvenience, so I immediately put her to sleep. Believe it or not, it's just like you said. I used what remained of Belduke's medicine to get the girl out of the picture. That's super easy. And that's when Miss Kira put up a fight and pulled this pendant right off your neck, correct? That's right. Have we won? I cannot fathom it. That would mean this pendant actually belongs to you, Lady Darklaw. I just have one question, Miss Darklaw. Why? Why take a spell off the bell tower? Why render her unconscious, and why go through the trouble of sneaking past the guards? What exactly was your aim in all of this? I am in no way obliged to answer that question, Defender. What makes you say that? Simple. None of it has any relevance to the case at hand, that's why.
Objection!
Yes, it does. This fella got up there. Miss Darklaw, you rendered the witness unconscious and locked her up at the top of the bell tower. I'd say that's more than a little relevant.
Objection!
Your Honor, if I may. The Inquisition believes the defense's question to be irrelevant to the current case. Professor, what are you saying? It would seem that the defense has forgotten a very important point. Namely, the point of this, Mr. Wright. Well, the aim of this trial is to find the identity of the Great Witch Bezella. Whether or not Miss Darklaw locked the witness at the top of the bell tower is hardly relevant to the purpose of this trial. But there's one thing that is very clear. Neither Miss Darklaw nor this witness could possibly be Bezella. What? If either one of the two were Bezella, then there would be no need for them to have used this rope of invisibility. They cannot use any magic. Therefore, it is inconceivable that either of them could be the Great Witch. Oh, shoot. Rather straightforward argument if there ever was one. At the time of the incident, there were 3 people present. Of those 3, 2 used the robe of invisibility to vanish from sight, leaving only one person. Indeed, Miss Cantabella. With this in mind, the larger question is, who is Bezella? Is that not obvious? The accused, Spella Cantabella, is the only possible answer. So why did you carry her up to the bell tower if you really think that she's Bezella? Besides, the accused voice was heard by all the townspeople, chanting the spell Grandworm.
Objection!
Not so fast. I happen to think these witnesses are extremely relevant to this trial. Did you forget about Miss Kira? She supposedly took a one-way trip into the pit of fire over there. And yet here she is in one piece, testifying that she returned in order to kill the ruler of Labyrinthia, the storyteller. Then there's Miss Darklaw, who rendered the defendant unconscious and proceeded to transport her up the bell tower. I'd say there's more than enough reason to investigate who these two really are. Only to discover that they are not, in fact, the Great Witch Bezella. I'm saying there's a possibility that these two are somehow related to Bezella. The court will now announce its thoughts on the matter. I must say, what Inquisitor Layton has stated certainly does ring true. However, Lady Darklaw, I have one question I must ask you. What exactly were you hoping to accomplish here tonight? I assure you, it was not my intent to deceive the good citizens of Labyrinthia. However, I must now reveal the truth to you all. What did she say? You don't think Lady Darklaw is in league with the witches, do you? She can't be. She was the one that saw the other witch's demise. Lady Darklaw, are you saying that you're... That's right, my lord. I'm a shade. A shade. Lady Darklaw, will you please tell the court exactly what you mean by when you what you mean when you say shade? Yes, of course. I grow weary of standing behind this bench. I will tell you all I can. What the heck is she trying to pull? Why testify about something that could potentially undermine your credibility? Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell in Labyrinthia. To them I am known as the Great Witch. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades, who live their lives in the woods. We exist to carry out tasks given to us by our mistress, the Great Witch herself. I'm not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit.
What on earth? Inquisitor Darklaw. Do you mean to say that not only are you a witch, that you're the Great Witch?
Unbelievable. Lady Darklaw is the Great Witch. The Great Witch? Doesn't that mean she's Bezella?
That's right, Lady Darklaw is Bezella. I do hope you have not forgotten what you established only moments ago. It is not possible for Miss Darklaw to be Bezella. But Inquisitor Layton, surely the testimony just now proves it.
I'm afraid that in the heat of such revelations, you've all misheard the information. Just pointless. This is the extent of what the people of this town will believe.
I believe the truth will become clear during our cross-examination. Don't you agree, Mr. Wright? Defender, you may begin your interrogation. Alright, press everything. Whoops.
Hold it!
Great Witch.
Yes, that's right. However, I'm not Bezella. The mistress to those who dwell in the Eldritch Woods is dubbed the Great Witch. Even if I wanted to be Bezella, I couldn't. As the ever so charming Inquisitor stated earlier, I cannot use magic.
Miss Darklaw, I have one question. What do you mean by live outside the realm?
I mean just that, Inquisitor. We truly live in a realm separate from this town. Now surely one as intelligent as yourself has worked out the answer by now, no?
Perhaps. That remains to be seen, Miss Darklaw. He did talk to the storyteller. Also, where's Luke?
Regardless, it's something we cannot discuss with anyone. But it is something that the defense should be able to prove.
That almost sounds like a challenge. An encouragement again. By the way, Miss Darklaw, since you're not actually a witch, why do you continue to be called that?
To answer that, I must first discuss the true identity of the Shades.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Kira here right now is the Shade version of the Kira from before?
Indeed, Defender. The girl has no recollection of her life prior to living in those woods.
What manner of witchery is this? Why, this girl, Kira, the flower seller, was cast straight to the flames before our very eyes. That's right, Your Honor. But as you can see, she didn't die. You see, there's actually a trick to the incineration device in the witch's court. A trick? Oh, we're just gonna say it. Cool. Once the verdict has been delivered, the court attendants move the steel cage to position, after which it seals shut. Then the cage is dropped down into a pit of fire. The bottom of the cage then opens, allowing the witch inside to escape unharmed to an underground passage. If what you're saying is true, Defender, then what of this town's witch-purging history? What has been the purpose of all of this?
You and the knights have indeed been ridding labyrinthia of witches. However, nary a single life has been taken in the process. That's the reality.
Well, that's nice. But you cannot truly expect me to believe such a ridiculous notion.
Oh, is this Maya now? I bet it's Maya. Also, she's saying Your Honor, so it's gotta be Maya. Your Honor, it's true! Take a good hard look. Doesn't get any more alive than this.
It's you! I am May!
Close enough. Well, it's actually Maya Fey, your forgetfulness.
What the heck are you doing? Everyone's gonna recognize you.
Yeah, but seeing is believing, Nick. Now they have to believe you. Do you see? Are you satisfied? All those found guilty in the witch trials lose their names, magic, and memory. They are then sent to spend their lives as shades in the Eldritch Woods. And the mistress of those shades is the Great Witch. As you can see, this girl too has become a shade.
I have no more words to express my utter disbelief at this situation.
That's enough. Shall we return to the testimony?
Why do I have a feeling things are going to get a lot worse? As it usually does.
Hold it!
Still pressing everything, though. These tasks you mentioned, were you acting on them this evening?
Yes. I was told to come here and become Bazella.
Wait just a moment, please. Did you just say become Bazella? My, how absolutely dreadful. Why would anyone be given such a terrible task?
Where have these shades come from?
Order!
I'm sorry. I don't know why I was given such a task. All I can do is follow the orders I'm given. If I can do that, then I can return.
What do you mean you can return?
Such is the nature of the shades. Neither human nor witch. Theirs is an existence spent in the shadows. Each of the shades is given specific tasks. Then, upon successfully completing such tasks, they are allowed to return to Labyrinthia as brand new people.
But Lady Darklaw, how can they return as brand new citizens when we already know who they were? For instance, we all recognize the former flower seller standing before us.
Now that, my lord, remains a secret. But a secret you will come to understand sooner rather than later.
Now it's just a game at this point. Like, they know it's a game. It's like, oh, I'm going to keep the secret. I'm not going to tell you anything. But don't worry, Phoenix will figure it out, so then we'll be able to tell everything. So simply baffling.
The one who gives us our tasks is the Great Witch. That would be you, Lady Darklaw. I mean, a magnificent one.
While this explanation is wrought with much I cannot comprehend, I request a witness added to their testimony.
Okay.
Hold it!
So, about these tasks. Can you give us any other examples?
A shade's tasks must never be discussed with others. No matter what.
She says that, even though she just finished telling us about her secret task. Incidentally, do you perhaps remember when you arrived back in town to carry out your orders?
Well, not really. My memory's still a little fuzzy.
Say, didn't Kira only just recently become one of those shade thingies?
Still, I failed in my task tonight.
Come to think of it, when Luke and I had our little run-in with Kira, I remember being blown clear across the marketplace. But I never saw any explosives or gunpowder. Maybe it was under a cloak of invisibility. Maybe. Kira was given the task of blowing you to smithereens, Nick. And we're done. Getting back to the testimony. I'm sure there's something here that just doesn't add up. Yeah, it's an added testimony, so of course there's something that doesn't add up.
Hold it!
You really don't have any recollection of your old flower-selling self, do you?
I don't. When a witch becomes a shade, they lose all memory of their past life.
They lose their memories? But why? And yet you still have some grasp of the concept of magic. Do you not, witness?
Let me spell it out for you. Magic does not exist in the Eldritch Woods. Oh, but there are actually lots of things back in the forest that I have not seen in this town.
There are things there you haven't seen here?
Like really huge machines, that sort of thing. There's one that spits out fire with such amazing speed, and it expels these huge plumes of gray smoke.
A machine that spits fire? Never have I heard of such a thing. Are you certain that these machines of which you speak are not simply magic?
No, not that you mention it. I don't think anyone from this town can actually see those of us from the forest.
They can't see you? Maybe something like that robe? How could such a thing even be possible without magic?
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, if I may interrupt for just a moment. What is it, Inquisitor Layton? Through your testimony just now, we've all come to understand the process of how one becomes a shade. However, I was hoping you could perhaps elaborate on one additional point.
Namely, what exactly is the purpose behind the shades? If you wish to know our purpose, there are certain other things you must first understand. Once you've done that, the answer should be quite clear. Isn't that right, Defender?
Purpose behind the shades?
Rest assured you will not get the answer from me. As the saying goes, the witch is in your court, Defender.
Sounds like Darklaw's challenging me to figure this out. Challenge accepted. There's but one true purpose for the shades that dwell within Eldritch Woods.
Hold it!
Miss Darklaw, what is the purpose of the shades?
As mistress of the shades, I cannot disclose the purpose of their existence.
Well then, since Miss Darklaw is unable to tell us herself, it seems we must rely on evidence instead. Evidence, huh? Do you believe the shades could have something to do with that which exists in this town but ought not to? That which exists but ought not to. Mechanisms? Machines? Magic? I was thinking magic. Something that exists but shouldn't. Well, it hurts to present evidence? Not quite. Give me a second. Not quite ready, Your Honor.
Come now, Defender. Surely you, of all people, are aware of just how important it is to know your product before you try and sell it, no? You're a baker trying to sell yourself as a defender, and right now I'm not buying it.
That was forever ago. Testify one more time. Get that objection finger ready and really nail him with some evidence, Nick. Okay. Whoops. Wait, that's it? For her testimony. What you thinking, Nick? There's something really weird going on with Darklaw. Really? Do tell. I mean, just listen to her testimony. She's more than willing to elaborate on some potentially incriminating information. I see your point. The one really trying to put an end to the story could be Darklaw herself.
I guess, but still. Remember, Nick, we're here to save Svella. So let's squeeze out every last bit of information we can and clear Svella's name.
Could be onto something. We better gather as much information as possible for the time being. Something that exists in this world that shouldn't is magic. But I don't have the evidence. Like, I can't bring out magic. Unless it's something else. Unless it's the mechanism on the clock tower. Wait. The clock tower. It came out of nowhere, right? Or the bell tower, rather.
Hold it!
So about these tasks, can you give any examples? You carry them out. Memory's so fuzzy. There's an explosion.
Hold it!
I am not prepared to present evidence, but I'm going to anyway. There's no shield blinking. But if it gives me the chance later with the shield blinking, I'm done for. I was born ready, Your Honor. Something that exists in this town but shouldn't. I think I know what you're getting at, Professor. Yes, Your Honor. Magic. That's what exists that doesn't, or that shouldn't. I don't think it matters what it's on.
Take that!
Something that doesn't exist. I have a feeling no one is going to like the answer I'm about to give. And it'll probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I've got to tell them. The truth has to come out. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no shortage of really strange events. Maze, Demir, Gador, Goldor, and now Grandworm. The command of magic is in itself a crime, is it not? In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of those witches actually died. That supposed death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. What are you saying, Defender? The Eldritch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines, unlike anything that exists within Labyrinthia. Machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. Sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Miss Darklaw. Magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not... What utter nonsense! It seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. What? Order, I say! What is the meaning of this? And that is the last thing that I remembered from this game. That magic did not exist. And that the shades have something to do with it. It means that all the magic you see in this town is nothing more than an illusion created and put into motion by the shades. Well, I didn't remember the shades, actually. I just remember that magic didn't exist and that there was something working behind the scenes. But Defender, the witches, we've clearly seen them use magic. Let us take a moment to think carefully about the systems employed by the shades. Systems? Which is essential in order for a witch to use magic. The witch must possess Talia Magica and must say an incantation in order to cast a spell. And the spell is able to be cast determined by the scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic? What do you mean, purpose? These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is they are there to inform the shades of who should be using magic. It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by shades. That's why they donned these robes, to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic. Create? Indeed. There are all kinds of spells within this town. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will. Yeah, make the Shade's job that much more difficult, for sure. Precisely so. Which is why it was imperative that a certain restriction be placed on the use of magic. Ah, you're referring to the Talia Magica, right, Professor? Of course, no wonder the scepter could just contain only 2 magic gems. Then there's the incantation. What would happen if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself or not even say it at all? Boy, that'd be so cool. I'd be casting spells all day long and no one would ever see it coming. Maya, we spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witches didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for Shades to know when to cast the spell. Right you are, Mr. Wright. The incantations were a way of telling the Shades when the witch was ready to use magic. What on earth? Never did I think these requirements could have such a purpose. Now, let's think back to the previous events leading up to today, which involved magic. Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignaze a few nights ago. A spell like this was nothing more than a flame spewed from a machine that being used by the Shades. Then that means Demir, the spell that makes the caster disappear. No doubt about it, it must have been this robe. Next is the incident with Golden, the spell that transmuted me into a gold statue. While I understand this may sound a bit absurd, I can only surmise the Shades created a gold statue in my image, took me and left it in my place, the instant the incantation was uttered. Professor, it's no more absurd than anything else that's happened so far. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar vein. What do you say to that, Miss Darklaw? I'd expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All of the witches were accompanied by Shades at all times. It was easier than you would think. You see, the Shades living in the Eldritch Woods, total in the hundreds. It was simply a matter of having each of the Shades operate in shifts in order to watch over each of the witches within the town. I must say, Lady Darklaw, that is quite a number of Shades. It's not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned into Shades, but their victims too were made permanent residents in the Eldritch Woods. Then, those 2 shady thieves from before were turned into Shades. Ah yes, you mean Rolbs and Muggs. Despite their dubious appearance, those 2 were a couple of my best Shades. Shady thieves turned into Shades. This stuff writes itself. I cannot believe what I have heard. However, there is still one thing I do not understand just yet. And what would that be? As has just been explained, we have established there's no possibility of magic being real, but replacing me with a gold statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, well, sounds simple enough. I myself, and presumably also Miss Fey, have no recollection of this replacement ever taking place. Hey, that's right! The professor got all bling-blingy before I could even bat an eye. It begs the question, how and when was that statue created, let alone used to replace me? That is true. The same goes for Godor. It's supposed to create a portal between 2 green-colored walls. Perhaps that is exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright. Still, it would be impossible for the Shades to get those portals ready so quickly. I agree. If we take a moment to think, we can see that all of these special spells have one strange thing in common. A thing in common? Yes, indeed. Almost as if some time between the start and end of the incident was unaccounted for. Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process. I've got it, Nick! It's just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right? Yes, I do not remember this Kira you speak of. And, oh yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their tasks? You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch. Eloquently put, Mr. Wright. Hence, we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those within the confines of this town. Missing time and lost memories. Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You are correct. There is in fact a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Something that the people of this town cannot see. Something that can rob people of their time and memories. 'Tis the very thing that connects all of what you have heard tonight. 'Tis a secret of monumental proportions. And let me guess. 'Tis a secret that cannot be revealed by the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. Is that right? Yes. An excellent deduction, Defender. Witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale, told to children. But it has become clear that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. Then that means, in this world, you're Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor, while also being mistress to the Shades in the other world. Otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Sure. In all honesty, there's still something that sticks out as a little odd. Particularly in Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. Did you say the previous testimony? I already pushed that out of my head. There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony. You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia? Indeed, quite the vital, albeit shocking truth. However, there's one more truth hidden within that same testimony. There's something else in that testimony? I must check the court record more times than I can count, but I didn't find a single other contradiction. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? There's no evidence left. We have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth. Logic? Oh, hey, I've got it, Nick! Puzzles. Remember, in a witch trial, you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time. Oh, right. A testimony. I was getting there. Hey, that's right. I completely forgot. Being able to look at two testimonies side by side is bound to turn up a contradiction somewhere. And that contradiction should provide us with a much-needed clue. Alright, let's do it. I'm not entirely sure where the professor's going with this, but I believe in his judgment. Besides, if we're going to blow this case wide open, it's got to be worth a shot. Very well. We will all now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. This is it, Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. There's a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the others. Ready yourself, Mr. Wright. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them, I am known as the Great Witch. Flames shines on shades who live in the woods, okay? With her venerable mistress, she assigns us our tasks. She was the Great Witch. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. What? This was the one that he was saying didn't add up. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades. Shades live outside the realm of those who live in it. It would have to be one of them. I'm not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit. Lady Darklaw was her venerable mistress. She assigned us her tasks. She was the Great Witch. There's nothing wrong with these statements. This was the one that he said was weird, though. So I would have to go... Unless it's like the wandering spirit thing, but I don't think so.
Objection!
I think it is. Your Honor, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated that she is I don't know why I gave him an accent. Miss Darklaw stated that she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Darklaw was her venerable mistress, the Great Witch. Oh. Wait, really? That's it? The past tense? Okay, alright. That is correct. She was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Past tense? I'm afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. May I ask what you mean? It's simple. Miss Darklaw was Mistress of the Shades, or as they also called her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she is no longer the Great Witch. She's not the Great Witch? Witness, this is true? Huh? It is as you have heard. I relinquished my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. What would that objective be again? It would be the assassination of the storyteller. Witness, at the beginning of this trial, you stated that you came to town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now this task, it wasn't Miss Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it? No, it wasn't. Oh. So then the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller? I cannot tell you, no matter what. Alright, so Darklaw isn't the Great Witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is... He's smiling. It would seem the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, do you not? Was it the storyteller? Oh no, he's gonna ask me a question again. It was either storyteller or a Spella. But why would a Spella do it? She knows nothing about it. It would have to be the storyteller, right? Because he's the one who's like, I'm gonna be killed by the witch. Defender, I ask that you enlighten the court. The storyteller was the one who wrote it. It's not a Spella, right? Because with Layton coming in being like, oh, a Spella Cantabella is the Great Witch Bezella.
Take that!
The storyteller? We're talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch, someone who calls the shots. I can't think of anyone else that meets those criteria, except for the storyteller himself. Preposterous! And that would mean... Exactly, Your Honor. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination. What? It's okay, he's alive. Because all the victims become shades. Everybody's alive. No one actually dies. Order! Order! Order in the court! But for what purpose?
Kind of like what I said, the only person who actually died was the alchemist.
Why would he plan his own assassination?
That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he assigned this task on Kira himself, it is perfectly natural he would do so. However, it is not natural. It's your behavior tonight, Miss Darklaw.
What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior?
You were once the head of all the Shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious, and locked her away in the belfry of the spell tower. That, to me, seems like an activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether.
Indeed, Lady Darklaw, what would be the reason for such behavior?
I leave that to you, Mr. Wright.
Please stop putting me on the spot. Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Darklaw's reason for covering up her actions tonight can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself. Miss Darklaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it, but why?
Was she betraying the storyteller? The plan was still happening. Someone was still going to kill the reason was to frame Spella of being the witch. She wasn't trying to protect him. She was sabotaging the plan, but it was still... The reason I'm not going to say sabotaging the plan was because the thing that was written was that I don't have the story with me. Was that the witch was going to kill the storyteller. So the plan worked. It happened. She was trying to do something deeper. She was trying to put a Spella on the chopping block here. So I'm going to say betray. There's one possible reason I can think of as to why Miss Darklaw had to hide her actions tonight. She was aiming to betray the storyteller. But betray the storyteller? I agree, Mr. Wright. The storyteller used the Great Witch Vizela to take his own life. The instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darklaw planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cantabella. Thus bringing us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella is on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Vizela. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to have harbored a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I am not mistaken. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. Oh, it's monologuing time. I think we're at the end of this now. That's right. Behold my revenge.
Did you just say revenge?
Miss Darklaw, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? If you insist.
Oh man, it's a testimony. Probably.
Oh no, maybe not. The High Inquisitor, and also the Great Witch.
Why can't you do voice acting over this? This is all epic and stuff.
Long have I donned those two masks, one as Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction. In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me or any of the townspeople to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate. Indeed, what we witnessed tonight was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence the sudden sham of an ending. And for that, I will never forgive him. What do you mean by sham of an ending? The Great Witch Vizela is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the Creator. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all of Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. It is not an ending I oppose in principle. We would not wish a happy ending for their own people. However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity. Bezella's identity. As you know, he assigned the role of this great witch to this girl beside me.
But you're saying that was a falsehood. Is that correct?
I knew Bezella's true identity. It is not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower. That is why I took the accused then. I did it to ensure the true witch foretold in the story was given the judgment she was due.
The true witch? You don't mean?
Yes, I speak of none other than Aspella Cantabella.
Objection!
Miss Darklaw, there is a glaring contradiction in your statement. And what would that be?
It's supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, the Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either.
You fool. Defender, you really don't have a clue, do you?
But wait just a minute now. Is the Defender not correct? If magic does not exist, then it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. That would include the Great Witch, would it not?
That's right.
They've been lying to us this whole time.
Bastards. Bezella isn't real.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument. What do you mean? I have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezella? Huh? She's supposed to be the head of all witches.
Allow me to reword the question. The Great Witch Bezella is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of?
The Great Fire. And that would be,
I just thought of something. We've been hearing Bezella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezella shown up in person.
Indeed, Miss Faye. Bezella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far. But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight?
It would appear so, Your Honor. However, there's just one more thing. Consider this. Which particular story is every citizen in Labyrinthia most familiar with?
Well, that would have to be
The legendary fire, right?
legendary fire, sorry.
Precisely.
Surely you're not serious. As the name implies, that is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred.
So they say, but the reality is there are still traces of that town fire within the town today. The professor's right. We've even seen some of it up close and personal.
Hey, yeah, at the Great Archive.
You are indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, not a soul saw what actually happened. Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened?
Correct.
Except for one particular person. What? There is one person who saw everything.
I am speaking, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself. The Great Witch Bezella. Aspella has memories of the fire. Yes. Oh, that's her.
I remember it, all of it.
Aspella, what are you saying?
When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly. The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched. The scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around me. tears streaming down my face. I remember it all. What you are recalling now is the moment the great witch Bezella destroyed our town. Well, it appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor.
Wait, get back here! Huh? Darklaw, she just vanished into thin air. Oh man, that's not fair.
She's right. These memories are proof that I am Bezella.
But Espella... Mr. Wright.
Remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that Espella Cantabella is in reality the great witch Bezella.
Right.
There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to the stand.
The final witness? Is he about to call the storyteller?
Hold it!
Ah, it would appear he has arrived.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness. The storyteller. And just like that, he appeared. The man who died not hours before. The victim of this very trial. The storyteller himself. The professor sure chose one heck of a final witness. The morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. I need to recover the credibility pieces, because, it's bad. It's really bad. I can't be sitting on one shield the entire time. It's gonna be really bad. Please give me my shields back. My crests back. Well, we're going on. So the storyteller's back. Magic doesn't exist. And Espella is still maybe the Great Witch? It's weird. Her memory's the fire. So what caused the fire is the question, because magic doesn't exist. And what is Darklaw's... What is she trying to do? Because that picture really made her seem like she was, like, besties with Espella. So something must have happened. And if Espella caused the fire somehow when she was a child, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Next time. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you guys then.